I saw the sunrise. Ha 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 hee ha. Ahoy hoy gang, if this is your first time with us, welcome. And if you're joining us from a previous video, hey, we love to see it. And I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I hope you're doing well. It's season 9. The season that I'm so excited to talk about. You should know why. If you don't know why, you're gonna know why. And it's a magical time for me to tell you why. But you gotta wait for it. You gotta get through the rest of the video and then have it as a treat. So, what worked? What failed? What heist episodes will be curtailed? It's kind of a lit season, all things considered. Here it is. It's fine like wine. It's hard to rhyme. It's time to look at the top 5 episodes of season 9. Number 5. If you love it so much, why don't you marionette it? Yeah, this episode hit me a little bit harder than I was ever expecting it to. I had seen this episode like once before the review, and I was a very passive viewer. And the only thing I could think of for it was just Tom Kenny as the flyer guy who has a sick ferret. So he really needs Bob to keep passing out those flyers, man. And I just love that Tom Kenny is only in like one episode of Bob's Burgers. He's wild in it, and he'll do pretty much anything just cuz. You know, people were like, you should make an ironic why Brickleberry is good. I'm like, here's the thing about that though. Tom Kenny is actually kind of funny in Brickleberry, and I'm really kind of about the characters he's played in those like Waco Geen series, because his delivery elevates anything he's in. American Dad, Wild Women Do. There he is, talking about washing machines. And then you have him in this episode, and like his character doesn't even have a name, but he's one of the most memorable characters of the episode. And then I guess A story, I always think of it as the B story, is Louise helping someone realize their passion again. And I appreciate that. I love that. I love that Louise, again, like I said in the review, she's always around creative people, so to have those moments just throws her off. She expects everyone to be passionate because that's what she knows. And I don't know, I really appreciate that sort of conflict because she's frustrated rather than conflict because she's greedy. And also we get more Ron in an everyday situation. Love Ron. Ron's great. This episode was a very quiet sensation for me. A very quiet success. Number 4, Roman Bob-a-day. Bob being forced to take a day off. Again, there's our board. There's our tropes. Character has been taking it too personally in the restaurant and decides to take a day, and wacky hijinks ensue. Perfect. Great. I know the trope like I know, everyone in my life. It is expected and will always be there no matter what series it is. And Bob, on his day off, goes to help a fellow restaurateur and does with little effort. Like, Bob doesn't need to be taught too much to help this person run her sandwich shop. And that's great. Bob just gets into it with her. He just starts making sandwiches and living the dream. Because that's who Bob is as a creative. Bob just loves making food. Bob just likes having fun. Bob is just willing to help somebody else because he wishes he had that help when he was starting out like her. He sees himself in people that are creative and people that are passionate. And what does he do? He helps her lock up so that she can go on a date because he understands the importance of relationships. That he wouldn't be who he is without his family. He wouldn't be able to be the chef he is without Linda or the kids. He fights to impress them. He fights to give them a better life. And that's just so sweet. And I mean, Tiffany Haddish is great in the episode. There's wonderful jokes. The songs are really solid. Yeah, the B story is one you've seen before, but like I said in the review, you've seen it before, but it still hits home. Like, there's just enough there to make it something really special. Number 3, Nightmare on Ocean Avenue Street. I genuinely do not know why I love this episode as much as I do. The big thing for me, the one that always jumps out to me, is the Teddy versus the other handyman, but the other handyman's always impressed by Teddy, and he just wants to impress Teddy and show him that he's just as good of a handyman as him. And that's cute, that's simple, and I'm about it. But when Teddy puts the chainsaws on the spider and just goes over and just shreds it up real quick, I love it. I love that scene. I love, again, talked about in the review, but that very steady just bum ba bum ba bum ba bum ba chainsaws bum ba bum ba bum ba bum. It's if it unnerves you, if it evokes laughter, it is comedy. I love that approach to comedic writing, to comedic, choreography, where it's just something wild out of nowhere. Look at it. And that's this episode. The kids are losing their candy to a weird bandit who's just Dr. Yap in a bunch of costumes, understanding how dumb it is. I will pay you cash money for your candy because I don't want to have a busy winter. That's fun. This whole episode is fun. And the jokes are so spot on. I just sometimes at the end of the day, you can be super critical and you can analyze a script down to its very core. You can look at all the things that influence, Lauren Bouchard and everybody on the cast. And sometimes you just have a spider with chainsaws on all of its legs being a spider with chainsaws on its legs. And that's good enough. Number 2, The Taking of Fun Time 1, 2, 3. Look, number 2 is tricky because I love a good heist. If it's got a heist in it, I'm probably gonna watch it. I enjoy the Ocean's movies. I just enjoy heists, okay? If it's a heist, it's already gonna get some bonus points. If it's a train, it's gonna get bonus points. If it's that there train heist, ooh boy, ooh Nelly, double points. But with this one, it's also the first appearance of the Wheelie Mammoth, which will become a recurring element. And I just really, really, really love that you've got Jack McBrayer and basically Triumph in an episode, just being weird together, just having fun, and it shines. I was dying watching this episode just because I love the jokes in it. Louise is a great little mastermind now. You've got all the, and then, okay, I'll admit it. First time watch through, the B story was so dumb. Oh, Bob and Linda get a chicken, and the chicken will not lay. That is the joke. Thank you for watching Bob's Burgers this week. But when I watched it late at night, all cozy and comfy and, not necessarily sober, I realized this is a perfect, midnight Bob's Burgers episode. This is an episode that goes real well paired with Aqua Teen Hunger Force. This is an episode that shines on reruns but does not shine on Fox. It fits an aesthetic that Fox does not deliver. It fits just good stoner animation, and I appreciate the hell out of it for it. Because if you look at the chicken scene, and you're like, okay, well, the chicken scene drags on for way too long. Then you think, now hang on, if I'm watching this at 11:30 at night, I've just watched, let's say, an hour and a half of American Dad or whatever the Adult Swim schedule is now. And there's just this episode where every time I look at it, there's Bob and Linda trying to get this chicken to lay an egg, and then it doesn't. And then it does on a Wheelie Mammoth, which is a Wheelie Mammoth, which is a woolly mammoth with rollerblades on it. You point out to me what isn't so dumb it works in that episode. It is so delightfully off-brand in the best ways. I love this episode so much. And I know all the reasons sound really, really dumb, but trust me, watch it at 11:30, watch it with an Adult Swim lineup, and it hits different. It hits different than marathoning it in Bob's Burgers. Number 1, UFO No You Didn't. I'm not a perfect person. I'm not, a perfect critic. A lot of people will tell you I'm a horrible critic, that I don't know what I'm talking about. And they largely could be right. But I will fight on this hill. UFO No You Didn't, after rewatching it, is my favorite episode of Bob's Burgers, bar none. Not only because we have the science fair thing where Tina is dealing with Henry trying to push her and Susmita to not contact, aliens because they might want to take us out. Why do you think, the dark forest theory? It's like, that's an actual theory. That's an actual thing that people talk about when it comes to like alien communication. And the fact it's real and they're taking it seriously, I don't know. That works for me in a way I did not expect. And then you get the B story. And what is the B story of this season's big episode? It's tiny coat racks. It's Bob buying a bunch of tiny coat racks and not knowing what to do with them. Maybe people like sidewalk sales. Let's put a bunch of tiny coat racks on a table. Oh, look, tiny coat racks help us get business from Jimmy Pesto. And it's literally just tiny coat racks. There's nothing deeper to it. There's nothing more complex. It's just tiny little coat racks. Who doesn't love a little tiny coat rack, you guys? I love it. I love tiny coat racks. Tiny coat racks make the world go round, okay? I have watched this episode. I've watched this episode like once, and then I watched it for the review. And I was like, I am just so enamored by these tiny coat racks. And then I decided to give it like the 11:30 viewing test. When you're tired, when you're, winding down. And I was laughing so hard, I was crying over these tiny coat racks. They're so dumb. They make no sense. It's just a bunch of tiny coat racks. Imagine sitting in the writer's room and just going, what if Bob gets a box of tiny coat racks? I'm Mike Judge, kind of. But what if Bob gets a bunch of tiny coat racks? What if Peter and Quagmire go on a cooking show together? We are not the same. And honestly, tiny coat racks, it sells the episode for me. I love me some tiny coat racks. Put tiny coat racks in chat, hashtag tiny coat rack. I'm telling you, who doesn't want a tiny coat rack? Tiny coat rack! Hashtag tiny coat rack. Get it trending on Blue Sky. If they, do hashtags. I'm not good at the social media. And there we have it. That's my top 5 episodes of Season 9. Anything you think I was right on? Wrong on? What are your top 5 episodes? Bottom 5 episodes of the season? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like what you saw, make sure to like, subscribe, and tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell everybody, we're out here. Season 9 was a fun time, and I don't care that didn't rhyme, because that rhymed. Gotcha. No, I really enjoyed Season 9. I had some of my favorite Halloween and holiday stuff, and it just was honestly a good time. Season 9 was solid. I feel like there's a lot of combinations that could make up a top 5 that I would not be mad at. Anyway, that's going to do it for us here at the Lecture Hall. And if you want to support the channel, consider joining our Patreon or membership programs today. $2 a month and you get special polls, posts, and even your name on this fancy list. Oh, yeah. Like always, remember, stay strong, keep fighting that good fight, and know that you are seen, I respect you, and I believe in you. A rising tide lifts all ships, and I can feel one jubilant wave a-comin'. Goodbye, everybody, and I'll see you next time in our next Merry Bobmas segment. Let's give it up for Hour 10! Woohoo!